Hello, welcome back to Education Unpacked. My name is Fabian, and thanks for joining us to this new episode. If you're just joining us for the first time, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for our viewers, we thank you for watching and staying with us through this journey. And we encourage you to share our videos to your different networks, to your friends and families, so they too can benefit from this information that we're providing, so you don't have to benefit from it alone. Today we are going straight to looking at a very important and crucial area that's been affecting students. If you are watching me from an emerging country, we encourage you to watch this video to the end. We are going to look at a few topics today, but today we will focus on the refusal rate for the visa applications and what's happening behind that. And more importantly, we will look into the data. What are the data saying? What does the data say? What is it telling the decision makers? So if you're watching me from an emerging country, or you are someone who is planning to kind of develop your career or advance in one way or the other in 2020, we want to advise you to watch this to the end. Then you know if you should be investing your money into studying abroad. Abroad, I mean in this case, traveling to Europe or the United States. These two countries attracts millions of applications every year. So we are going to focus our discussion in this direction. Now, what is data in the first place? Because first of all, we received an email from one of our applicants, not our applicant rather, one of our viewer who told us that he had been refused visa 2 times to travel abroad to study. So we think that it's as a result of there are several reasons for that. So we don't know, but we decided to dig into this to come out really clear on let people know what is going out there, and they should know if they should be wasting their precious time pursuing things that have no dream. Now, first of all, let's look at the definition of data. What is data? You could look at the dictionary or whatever definition you want to come up with, but we're going to make it very basic. Data is defined as facts or figures or information that's stored in or used by computer. In this case, someone owns that computer. It goes further to say data is information collected for research, whatever research that could be. So what you should know here, they are collecting information. The number of information that have been collected are being used today to make most of the decision. We are going to go into, there are several reasons why people, don't get me wrong, there are several reasons why people are refused or students are refused visas application to come and study abroad. So we want to look into a few of that so you know. So the next time that you're making your application, you may want to get this right. As you may take note, I have my my computer here and also have my notes. I'll be looking into that, so I'm able to provide you with some accurate information. Now, let's look at that. There are several reasons why people are refused visas during their the application to study abroad. That could mean one, for example, inaccurate information. You provide an inaccurate information in relation to the requirements was needed. Your name does not match the name that's on the application form, or your sponsor name does not match to the person who's going to be funding your program. So inaccurate information may cost you your visas. You want to take note of that. Another thing is you are falling short of academic achievement. So they may need people with 2.5 or 4.5, 3.5 for the scale of 4, but you don't really meet that requirement. So you may go to the embassy. If you get in there and meet someone who is difficult, they're going to make your life difficult, and at the end of the day, you lose the visa appointment. Now, another area is insufficient funds. This has always been a big problem. I don't know where your sponsor is coming from, but as a result of this, you may be refused your visa during your interview. And also inadequate documents. You're asked to provide an X amount of documents, but you went ahead and provide what you feel should be in your own view that this is a requirement. And you go there, the visa office to say no, and that's another reason. So the last part we're going to look in here is the lack of interviewing skills. This is something we're going to talk about in the future. You don't have the skills. You're panic. You start thinking about different things. You can't focus. So this affects your performance during the interview. You did not practice. You lack the basic information that's needed, but that affected you for you to concentrate. Now, these are some of the reasons, and even more. If you know more, okay, that's fine. I don't know what your situation is. You can add that up to the reason why students are refused visa. Student in this case could mean working professionals, experts in different industries that are intending traveling to study in Europe or in America. So if you're talking about students, we're not saying only those who are still at college. Now, these are some of the reasons why people refused visas to study. However, what we want to focus on here is the data. The data is not on your side if you are coming from an emerging country or from a developing country. I'm just going to give you all a developing continent. If you are watching us, you're coming from one of the developing country, we encourage you to look at this video to the end. It will help you to change some of your perception on how things work. If you are also living in a developed society, in a Western environment, we also want to advise you to watch this video to the end. Now, we have some information here that I'm going to provide to you to give you, which will shock you on what is really going on out there. We just want to go into, for example, recently, we saw an information, the data proven by, that was released out there by the Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, which is abbreviated IRCC, and this was terrible. Terrible in my way of looking at it, because it says that 75%, you can get that again, 75% of African students application made by students from Africa, from the African continent, were rejected. 75% were rejected, as compared to 39% globally. I just want to rephrase this again. That is, 75% of application from applicants coming from African continent were refused, as compared to just 39% globally. That's every other country combined got just 39% refusal. But the African continent alone experienced a 75% rejection. This information is unbelievable. So we just want to let you know that these are the different trends that are out there. Now, as a result of this, there might be several reasons where I'm not saying that their applications were refused is an issue, but no, there may be several reasons, because what the data is saying, what we are looking at, is saying that most students coming from these developing countries overstay their visas. They come to Europe or to the United States, and they do not focus on their education. They don't complete their studies, and this goes a long way to letting them get into the system and become illegal. So I'm not going to go into the legal issues and stuff like that, but the number of students who travel to study in the US or in Europe who at some point did not finish their education, the number has skyrocketed. It's gone to the top of the roof. So this number, the universities are reporting that information back to the immigration, that they have 200 students coming from whatever X amount of country. Their students did not finish their school, and they gone back to so what that data is saying is most students coming from emerging or developing countries refuse to go back home or do not complete their education, and the universities are reporting that information back to the immigration. And just imagine that you're looking at this information and thinking that tomorrow you have a visa appointment, going to an embassy to come and study abroad. I'm not giving you this information to kind of I want to say that I'm not giving you this information to kind of discourage you in you pursuing your dreams. It's up to you to thinking about making that decision, but you got to know what the facts are. The facts are not on your side. The data is not on your side. Now, this information has been reported back to the different governments in different countries that you're going to study, and now this information has been sent back to the embassies. Now you become, your application is, by you just coming to the embassy, you just looked into and like, okay, this guy is not going to come back, and this is the first conception. They already make a map of you. It's not about you. It's about the people who've gone ahead of you. This is the problem we're looking at. We have an issue going on recently about Nigeria, that the number of Nigerian visa refusers recently has been as a result of there is a problem with Canada, that most Nigerians are asking asylums in Canada, and this is not as a result of that. These individuals who left Nigeria, they have the intention to go and stay there, where they stated in their visa applications that they are going back to their countries. But all of a sudden, they found themselves asking for asylum in Nigeria. I'm not in a problem. You can travel, you can go wherever you want to go. But again, what we're saying here is we're trying to bring that information to you so you can make that decision to know why these things are being, people are not sure. They are not guaranteed their visas. The fact that you have complete documents does not mean you're going to have a visa. This is the situation. So the data which is showing, now, those who filled the application in Lagos or Abuja in Nigeria, that information has been related back to once they make a visa application, they have their fingerprints. The fingerprints now have been sent back to the United States, and the United States now is working with Canadian immigration, and Canadian immigration can see that X amount of people requested for what type of visa to come to the US to kind of maybe come there for tourism and for touristic issues for 1 or 2 weeks, and now this same person it's found in the Canadian border asking for asylum, of which they've said in Nigeria that they have all documents, they have all requirements, and I'm not blaming these people. I mean, they have their own issue. We're not going to look into that, but what we are focusing on here is how they're using data to kind of push you back. So we're telling you that we should focus on the different things that affect our visa application. However, data has been something that has been left behind. We want to encourage you to look into that. Going back to the higher refusal rate, the UK also has high rate of refusal of student visas. So there is a trend going out there. So they are using this information. Most of this data is now available in those different embassies. So while you're going there for your visa interview, they already know that you might not go and come back. So this is an issue. And whatever reasons might be for refusing students visas, there are lots of genuine, really genuine students who have genuine intentions to come and study abroad. However, we have this other group of people who feel that because we got lost in the whole conversation. People saying that, oh yeah, I'm going to travel, come to Europe and do the program. Sometimes when you get to Europe or the United States, it's a story is not what it is. You got a lot of stuff. We did a video about the challenges that you're going to face when you travel to study abroad. We encourage you to go back to some of our previous videos and look at that particular video talking about the challenges that you will face when you come to study in the Western country. So going back to the point, what we're advising you is that the data is not on your side. The people who gone ahead of you, for whatever reasons, they must have gone against some of the regulatory things that are required for you to stay effectively. So you come into the embassy by you having, I'm sure in one of the visa application requirement or statement, it said that the fact that you have complete documents does not mean you're going to, you will be issued a visa. You want to check that the next time you go to the embassy. It's clearly stated there. So we are telling you that it's not about you. It's about the data that have been collected. The students that came to Europe, to the US, to wherever they went to, never finished their university. And I don't want to know what happened that they never finished their university. That's not a part of our discussion. There are several reasons. We don't know what your individual situation is, but we are saying that their trend we are looking at, that they've collected all of this information, and now they are using this information to kind of determine the visa issuance. Now, that is the reason why the rate of refusal has gone the top of the roof. I'm not saying that there are students who are going to study in the US from Nigeria. Of course, they're having their visa. Not everyone is going through this process. But I'm talking about the entire African continent, Asia, and on other different countries. Now, Indians too have a big problem as well. So they feel that most people coming to study in the West are coming here and won't go back. This is the question they're going to ask you. This is how they feel. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking at you coming to an embassy that you are going to be one of the problems. But they are relating based on the information that the university has provided to them. So we want to say that there is a trend out there. They are using this data to determine your future, determine your information, determine your visa application process, to determine if you qualify to obtain a visa. So the increase in the rate of refusal, going back to our viewers, this is a major issue. We don't take the data into account. It might be for whatever reasons that the application process, the visa was refused, but the data they're having, they're not sharing that with you. They're just telling you that most universities in Europe are sending that information back to their different embassies, and those embassies are using that tool as something that